afternoon. I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. It's final. President Duterte has ordered the Cebu provincial government to abide by the IATF's policy for arriving passengers. Maricel Halili joins us live from Mandaluyong City for more details. Hi, Maricel. What prompted this final decision by President Duterte? They have been, debating about this for weeks now. And President Duterte even went to Cebu.
Yeah, Sean. Actually, if you recall, President Duterte even had a meeting with Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia to listen to her side. Why is there a different policy when it comes to inbound passenger in Cebu? And following that meeting, President Duterte also ordered the Department of Health to submit their critique about the policy being implemented in Cebu. And after further studies about the critique coming from the Department of Health and after listening to the side of Governor Gwen Garcia, this afternoon, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque announced that the president has finally made his decision to make sure that the Cebu local government will follow the guidelines or the rules set by the interagency task force.
All right, did the palace spokesman mention what will happen if Cebu insists with following its own protocols? Could the province actually be sanctioned retroactively by the DILG for not following the IATF's nationwide rules these weeks past?
Secretary Roque actually declined to answer if the Cebu local executives may face liabilities should they decide not to follow the drafted or the rules drafted by the interagency task force. Secretary Roque said that it's up to the Department of Interior and Local Government to discuss this issue.
All right, moving on now to us over here in the NCR Plus region. What is shaping up so far regarding our next quarantine classification? Should we prepare ourselves to be moved to a different classification soon, Mase? And is the president going to announce anything?
Sean, if you recall, Dr. Ted Herbosa, one of the advisors of the National Task Force, actually recommended that maybe the Metro Manila or the NCR Plus as a whole is now ready to be placed under modified general community quarantine. But when asked about the new community quarantine classification, Secretary Roque said that he thinks that it is very unlikely that the IATF will place NCR Plus under MGCQ. He said that even before the surge of COVID-19 cases, there was a time that the number of cases nationwide is about 1,000 plus, only 1,000 plus. Metro Manila is still placed under ECQ, MECQ, or GCQ, never in MGCQ. So he doubts if this time, considering that we still have about 7,000 plus COVID cases nationwide, he doubts that the IATF will decide to place the NCR Plus under MGCQ. However, it is highly possible that the IATF will recommend to place Metro Manila and nearby provinces under the ordinary GCQ based on the hospital care utilization and the number of COVID cases in Metro Manila. But of course, the meeting of the IATF will still happen this afternoon, and then after that, they will submit their recommendation to President Duterte. Of course, like what you said, Sean, we're expecting President Duterte to have a talk to the people tonight, and we're also expecting that he will be announcing the new community quarantine classification.
That's right, another Monday in the time of pandemic. Now, Mase, should the NCR Plus region shift to normal GCQ, will gyms and other indoor activities still be required to secure safety seals from the DTI? How does this work?
So far, based on the statement of Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez, it is still a requirement for the gym owners to have safety or to secure safety seal recommendation from the local government units before they can open their businesses once again. But one of the plans of Secretary Ramon Lopez. In tonight's meeting with the IATF, he's planning to recommend that maybe it's about time to allow the gyms and indoor sports venues to reopen their businesses even without the safety seal certification. If that's the case, maybe they can open up until 20% venue capacity, and then once they secure the safety seal certification from the local government units, that's the only time that they can open up to 30% of the venue capacity. But of course, they still have to ask for the approval of the IATF before they can implement this.
All right, we'll wait for further updates regarding that matter. Now, Mase, the Senate's also planning to probe our vaccine procurement. How did the palace react to that?
Deputy Implementer Secretary Vince Dizon mentioned earlier that they are prepared to present the budget allocation, how they spent the money for the vaccination program during the Senate hearing tomorrow. He said that it's probably better to wait for their presentation tomorrow because, of course, they also support the position of some senators. He particularly mentioned Senator Drilon that transparency is very critical to make sure that the implementation of the vaccination program in the country will be effective. So we'll be waiting for the presentation of the National Task Force tomorrow in Senate's hearing.
All right, and let's move on to politics. I saved this one for last. What did the palace spokesman have to say, or did the palace have anything to say at all about the Isambayan shortlist that was released over the weekend?
Well, Secretary Roque said that as long as the administration, or rather the administration is still focusing on the issues about the vaccination or the COVID-19, the pandemic problems, so they would like to set aside politics for now. They will just wait for the right time to talk about politics.
All right, so we'll wait right alongside you. Thank you so much for all those updates. Maricel Halili joining us live from Mandaluyong City. And curfew hours across Metro Manila will be eased to between 12 midnight and 4 a.m. starting June 15. In today's Laging Handa briefing, MMDA Chairman Benhur Abalos said that the NCR mayors have agreed on shorter curfew hours to further open up the economy. Recall that the capital has been under a unified 6-hour curfew since May 1st, following the reimposition of stricter quarantine status. Abalos also said that local chief executives have based their decisions on the declining COVID-19 attack rate, growth rate, and hospital utilization rate.
This will give more time sa mga taong kakain sa restaurants, sa mga malls na magbukas, may travel time, at siguro makatulong ng gusto na sa ating ekonomiya.
Almost 6.9 million Filipinos have been vaccinated against COVID-19. The latest government data shows that more than 1.8 million have been fully vaccinated, while a little over 5 million have received their first doses. Testing czar Vince Dizon said that the country has vaccinated at least 1 million people for the third straight week. Overall, the government has received 9.3 million vaccine doses, following last week's big shipments from Sinovac, Pfizer, and Sputnik V. And some residents in Muntinlupa City were dismayed after the Corrections Bureau built another wall that blocked their access to some areas. Here's the report.
Almost 1,000 families appeared to be like prisoners caged in their own community in Barangay Poblacion, Muntinlupa, as the new Bilibid prison starts building another wall along the road leading to the facility's Type B area. It was around 4 p.m. on Sunday when Bucor personnel started building the new concrete wall in the middle of the road, leaving many residents shocked.
Masakit po sa kalooban namin. Kasi hindi naman po kami hayop eh. Hindi naman kami preso. Dito na po kasi kami tumanda.
Because construction of the new wall was sudden, some vehicles and residents were trapped in the area inside and outside Type B.
Tulad ng mga sasakyan, kalabas, hindi na po makapasok. Tapos kami, hindi na rin daw kami makakadaan, babakuran na rin daw po.
Some workers in the area, like tricycle drivers, delivery riders, and vendors using carts, had to halt their jobs as the new wall blocks their path. Aside from denying residents access to some areas in their community, most of them are worried that the new wall could hinder them from accessing service should there be any form of emergency.
We are also residents of this place for almost 60 years in the service. My husband retired here for almost 42 years in the service. Tapos gaganyanin kami para kaming preso na ikukulong dito sa lugar na to. In case of emergency, saan kami pupunta? Bakit ganun? It's unfair.
The Bucor said they have plans of demolishing houses of informal settlers in the area as it is still part of the NBP compound. But the Bureau noted negotiations with residents at Type B are still ongoing.
Merong binaba sa aming yung meeting lang, nag-meeting kami doon sa BRS. Ngayon, ang sabi nila, meron daw demolish. Pero hindi pa kami binababaan ng notice.
The Bucor also explained that the new wall is being built for security purposes as they aim to eradicate supposed drug and criminal operations in the area.
Kapag ikaw ay squatter, hindi ka talaga. Dapat in the first place, wala sila doon. May mga squatters doon na matagal lang pinapalis, sila pa yung mayabang.
The Bureau said that they are merely protecting their vital facilities within the compound, like their engineering and correction training school. For now, authorities want residents to take an alternate route called Magdaong that could lead them to other places in the city. But this is situated in higher ground, which may not be ideal to some residents, especially senior citizens. Type B residents are now calling for help from the Muntinlupa LGU.
Let's move on now to other stories we're keeping our eyes on. Families of drug war victims are appealing to the International Criminal Court, or ICC, to hasten its investigation into President Duterte's alleged crimes against humanity. Assisted by the National Union of People's Lawyers, or NUPL, the families also called for the issuance of an arrest warrant against the president. The ICC has yet to finish its preliminary examination into President Duterte's war on drugs. And a House panel has grilled the Education Department over the repeated blunders in modules and other learning materials. The agency has so far reported more than 100 errors in learning modules that are being used across the country. The DepEd said all faulty modules have been recalled and that those behind the errors will be sanctioned. And the COMELEC, or Commission on Elections, will be launching a mobile app to streamline the voter registration process. COMELEC said registrants will be provided with a QR code, which will then be presented at local COMELEC offices for biometrics. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.